Good morning students. I am Dr. Tripti Gupta here from Shivjyoti Education Group, Kota. Now today we are going to start with the English session for class 11, chapter number 3 of your Hornbill book. Discovering Tut, the saga continues, authored by A.R. Williams. So let us start with this chapter. I would suggest all of you to please open your books and open page number 23 of your Hornbill so that you can mark the various important aspects while we are going through the chapter. So let us start with some information about the author A.R. Williams. So students, our author A.R. Williams here is, he developed a love for reading at a very young age. When he was in grade 4, he was given an assignment on writing fiction. It occurred to him that he could craft tales for others to enjoy. Later he crafted stories of science fiction and fantasy. This was his area where he used to write stories. So now let us move towards understanding about the chapter Discovering Tut. So let us start with an introduction of this chapter. Okay, so let us start understanding about the chapter. The chapter revolves around a king, an Egyptian king, Tutankhamun. So here let us understand how the Egyptian dynasty was. In ancient Egypt, when a king, Pharaoh, died, it was believed he would ascend to the afterlife and become one of the many gods the people worshipped. They believed that each person had 3 souls which could only travel to the next world if they were looked after. So with this concept, they were being taken well care even after they died. So that is how these pyramids were being made as the tomb of their to take care of their bodies, and they were being preserved as mummies. To enable this to happen, the ancient Egyptians created an elaborated process which they carried out to preserve Pharaoh's dead bodies called mummification. So in this mummification, they used to preserve the bodies, as you can see in the picture here also. Here is a mummy being lying here of a Pharaoh. So the king, Egyptian king. Now the aim was to preserve the body and prevent them from decomposing. When mummification was complete, the mummies were placed in special tombs in the Egyptian pyramids that still stand today. So we can still see those pyramids. They were basically they are the tombs of those Egyptian pharaohs. There are n number of tombs, and still the archaeologists they are discovering mummies up till now. So this is how let us move further in this chapter and understand how this chapter revolves around the very first mummy which was being discovered of Tutankhamun. So students, let us start with the summary and the analysis of this chapter. So let us move here. Tut was the last heir of the powerful Egyptian dynasty. He died in his teens about 3,300 years back. Laden with gold, he was laid to rest and was eventually forgotten. Now, basically this story is of King Tut, Tutankhamun, who was the last Egyptian ruler of the Egyptian dynasty, and he died when he was a teen, somewhere around 17 years old, and he ruled around 3,300 years back. When he died, his body was being mummified and he was being preserved in the tomb and in the pyramid, and eventually he was being forgotten in the history until he was being discovered. His mummy was being discovered by archaeologist Carter. Okay, so let us understand here how exactly this happened. His unexpected demise was a big event, and the reason for his death remained unclear. That why King Tut died in so early age when he was in his late teens. Two of the biggest questions about him are still unanswered. How he died and how old was he at the time of his death. Though we understand that he was in his late teens, but still the exact age of King Tut has not yet been identified when he died. So these are the two unanswered questions which are still a mystery here. An English archaeologist, Howard Carter, discovered his tomb in 1922. This was quite early time. It was he was a British archaeologist. Howard Carter found 3 nested coffins of Tut. On opening the first one, he saw a shroud decorated with garlands, willow, olive and lotus petals and corn flowers, the faded evidence of a burial in March or April. So basically the flowers which were being spread on the shroud is the cloth with which his body was being covered, and that was being there on the first coffin. See, nested coffins are a bigger coffin consisting of a smaller coffin, and then again there was a third coffin in which finally the mummy of King Tut was being lying. So on the very when they opened the first coffin, they found that the second coffin was being covered by a shroud, and that shroud was being having lots of petals and flowers, corn flowers, all these were being there spreaded on that shroud, and which gives an evidence that he died in the month of March and April, because these flowers are only they bloom in the month of March and April. So this was the first evidence which they got about his death. He encountered a major problem when he finally reached the mummy. So it was not a very simple process for Howard Carter to reach that mummy. It was a difficult excavation. Finally they were being able to reach the mummy in the third coffin, which was being the last coffin inside the nested coffin. The ritual resin had hardened, which left Tut cemented to the bottom of the gold coffin. Now this was a problem here in this situation. Then when they found the mummy, it was being glued, it was being pasted in with the very hard that material, that resin glue which was being used, that chemical was being hardened over these thousands of years, and now it was being very difficult for Howard Carter and his team to bring that mummy out of the coffin. So they were been struggling how to make that mummy and the dead body of King Tut to come out of the coffin. So he tried hard to loosen the resin by putting the mummy in the sunlight, but he failed. So the sunlight, where the temperature was somewhere around 120 degree Fahrenheit, even that also did not work, and that resin was enough hard to retain that body inside, being glued inside the coffin. So they decided he had to chisel away the solidified resins to raise the king's remain. So chiseling is basically they use the tools, chisel and hammer, and his men they basically put that chisel under the body, and finally they were able to bring that body come out of the coffin. He had not done so, thieves would have cut it apart to remove the gold. See, the complete mummy was being gilded, it was being completely covered with gold, lots of gold was there, a huge amount of treasure was discovered in the Tut's coffin. So here let us discuss few of the questions from this part of the chapter. Come to page number 23. The very first question which comes across here is, first question is, you can write down this question on page number 23. What is Pharaoh's curse? This question is been the first question here. So first mark the answer. It is in the second paragraph, last two lines. See here, the Pharaoh's curse, death or misfortune falling upon those who disturbed him was really true. So these are the lines where you can understand that there was a Pharaoh's curse which was it was a superstition which was being commonly believed by the people in the locals, that this curse was there, and it was being engraved on the walls in the tomb also. So this was the curse. Now when they discovered the tomb, this curse was being written over there. So basically they also faced the difficulty while removing the king. So and Howard Carter has given an excuse that if suppose he had not removed king's body at that moment, thieves must have intruded inside the tomb and they must have taken away the body so that they can take the gold away from there. So this was the reason why he actually made the. So Tut's body was lavished with glittering goods, precious collars, inlaid necklaces, bracelets, rings, amulets, the ceremonial apron, sandals, sheaths of his fingers and toes, and an iconic inner coffin and the mask, all of pure gold. So all the treasures were of pure gold. There were a lot of things, and all these things were being kept along with the body of King Tut with a belief that he will need all these things in his afterlife. Carter's men removed the mummy's head and separated almost every part and joint from the coffin. So this actually happened. What they did, they removed the head first, and finally they separated all the joints of that body, and they removed it piece by piece, and they did X-ray also at that time. So this was how it all happened when Howard Carter took it up in 1922. The mummy had to undergo a CT scan in order to unveil a numerous mystery here. About Tut's life and death. Many tourists from all over the world came to see most famous mummy. The mummy was in deplorable state. It was being badly damaged by the way the investigations was being taken up by Howard Carter at that time. But here Zahir Hawass was the head of the archaeology department of Egypt. He took up to finally in 2005 they had taken out the mummy again, and it has undergone through a CT scan in order to unveil the mysteries. That how he actually died, what was the age, and how exactly what were the various reasons behind his death. To reveal all these facts and to answer the mysteries, finally they decided to go for a CT scan. In year 2005, more than 3,300 years after his death, King Tut's mummy became one of the first mummies to undergo a CT scan. In death as in life, moving regally ahead of his countrymen. So basically this was a statement being given that he died early, in his life, he lost his life at a very, very early age, and here also he was being first to be scanned. Even after death, he was being the first mummy. His body was being scanned very first time any mummy was being scanned. That was the King Tut's body. CT scan was led by Zahir Hawass and done with a portable CT machine. So this CT machine was being given in from the National Geography Society. They gave this CT scanner to the archaeologist department over here, and they finally decided to scan the Tut's body. The scan came up with new clues about his life and death. It provided precise data for an accurate forensic reconstruction of King Tut. Due to sand in the cooler fan of the CT machine, they had to use 2 plastic fans to complete the scanning process. So, see, you can view the various image which were being scanned from the body of Tutankhamun, and here these scanned images were being reconstructed and a complete structure of the body was being framed of Tutankhamun. While they were being carrying on with the CT scan, they faced a bit of problem. The cooler of that CT scanner was stuck with sand, and finally they found a substitute that they arranged 2 of the fans, and finally they carried forward the scanning part. Everything went off smoothly, and actually everybody was expecting, they were being afraid of the superstitions which were being believed along with the Tut's body, that if suppose somebody is going to disturb the body, is going to make it removed from the coffin, certainly the things they are going to face the consequences. So everybody was a bit worried here. Zahi Hawass was also being worried about, but everything went on smoothly, and after the completion of the scan, his mummy was carried back to his tomb. Just above the Tut's tomb stood a cluster of stars known as Orion. This is a constellation, and it was being visible from the gate of the tomb. From that pyramid, when they were being coming out, they found that the Orion was being visible in the sky high, just above the gate of that pyramid, and it seems like the Orion is understood as the god of afterlife, and he is been watching the young boy's dead body. This was being, it seems like that when they came out of the pyramid. So, watching over the boy king, when the archaeologists left, the wind had stopped and the surrounding came to be deadly silent. So, all the disturbance, the strong winds and the very airy kind of environment which was being there when they were being scanning the body, all those things calmed down when they finally came out of the pyramid. So, this was all things which exactly the environment was a bit strange at that moment when they were taking up this process. Okay, now let us understand the character sketches which are being the part of this chapter here. Okay, now before moving to the character sketch, let us first take up few more questions from the chapter itself. First question we have already marked. Now please come to page number 25, and there is a second question here. What were the things buried with Tut's mummy and why? So first write down this question. What were the things buried with Tut's mummy and why? Now to answer this question, you have to refer paragraph 2 on this page, line 4. From line 4 till next 5 to 8 lines, you will find the various things which were being buried with Tut's mummy, and the reason that he will require all these things in his afterlife, that was the reason that is also been mentioned in this part of the paragraph. Okay, now let us move to the next question on the same page number 25. So write down the third question. How has archaeology undergone change in the 20th century? So this is the question, I am repeating the question. How has archaeology undergone change in the 20th century? Now to answer this question, you need to refer the third paragraph over here, the first 4 lines of the third paragraph, as well as the fourth paragraph also, first 3-4 lines of third paragraph also, third and fourth paragraph. So you can refer these lines from third and fourth paragraph to answer this. You will find the answer over here in this part of the chapter. Now turn to page number 26. We have one more important question from this part of the book. That is, how was, write down the question, how was Tut's body carried to the CT scanner? I am repeating the question. How was Tut's body carried to the CT scanner? Now to find the answer of this question, you have to refer the last paragraph of this page number 26. The first 4-5 lines are having the answer to this question. Now the next question, you may write this question number 5 on page number 27. Please write the question here. Why do you think Zahi Hawass smiled and left relieved? I am repeating the question. Why do you think Zahi Hawass smiled and felt relieved? So to answer this question, you need to refer to the second paragraph of page number 27. See initial first 4 lines of paragraph 2 of page 27, and later on the last 2-3 lines are also there, which you can refer and include in the answer of this question. So this is how you can mark the few of the important questions from this chapter. Rest of the questions we are going to deal with in the copy work that you will be getting along with this video. Now let us move to the character sketches, which are the important part of this chapter here. So first character is the Howard Carter, who was the first archaeologist, British archaeologist, who took up the excavation part in 1922. Howard Carter was an English archaeologist and Egyptologist who became famous all over the world after discovering intact tomb of the 18th dynasty pharaoh Tutankhamun, King Tut, in November 1922. Carter was innovative and scientific in improving the methods of copying tomb decoration at the age of 17. In 1899, Carter was appointed to the position of Chief Inspector of the Egyptian Antiques Services. He supervised a number of excavations at Thebes. So this was how Howard Carter was and his achievements as an archaeologist. Now let us move here with some more facts about him. In 1904, he was transferred to Inspectorate of Lower Egypt. Carter was praised for his improvements in the protection of and accessibility to existing excavation sites and his development of the grid block system for searching for tombs. While investigating the coffins of King Tut, he ran out a lot of troubles but was determined to complete the task. He tried various ways to continue the process without harming the mummy. He decided to chisel away from beneath the limbs and trunk before it was possible to raise the king's remains. So this is how he carried out the first excavation of King Tut. Now let us discuss something about King Tut, Tutankhamun. Tutankhamun was the 11th pharaoh of 18th dynasty of ancient Egypt. He was made famous due to the discovery of his complete intact tomb by British archaeologist Howard Carter in 1922. So the reason being famous was because he was the first mummy which was being discovered in 1922 by Howard Carter. Tut was a teenage heir to the royal throne of Egypt. The family had ruled Egypt for centuries, but Tut died young. He was the last of the family line to rule at that moment. His father or grandfather, Amenhotep III, was a powerful pharaoh who ruled for almost 40 years. He was his grandfather. His son Amenhotep IV succeeded him, but he shocked the country by attacking Amun, a major god, smashing his images and closing all his temples. So this was a very strange thing which actually Amenhotep IV took up, when he was in his rule, he smashed out the various temples of god Amun. So, and god Amun was being worshipped by Egyptian people from quite long, from many centuries, but the temples were being attacked by the king Amenhotep IV. His family had ruled for centuries before the boy king Tut took over. However, Tut ruled for 9 years and then died unexpectedly. So, Tut, as we can see here, he ruled for 9 years. Being a teen, he started his regime in a very young age, and when he died, he was very unexpectedly, he died at a very young age when he was in his late teens. Now here some more information how Tutankhamun ruled in those 9 years. Egyptians believed that they could take their riches with them. King Tut was lavished with glittering goods, precious collars, inlaid necklaces, bracelets, rings, emoluments, a ceremonial apron, sandals, sheaths of his fingers and toes, and an iconic inner coffin and mask of pure gold. All these things were being there found as treasures along with in his coffin. In 1922, Howard Carter, a British archaeologist, discovered Tut's tomb after years of futile searching. Its contents remain the richest royal collection ever found and have become the part of Pharaoh's legend. Tut's body was also buried with everyday things he would require afterlife. Board games, a bronze razor, linen undergarments, cases of food and wine, all these things were the daily use articles which were being found in his coffin. Now with this we have come to and towards the end of this chapter. Hopefully you must have understood the various important aspects of this chapter and the characters which are the major of major importance. Now I would suggest that you please go through the video as well as read the chapter and complete the copy work. Whatever the doubt you will come across, we will deal with all those doubts in the live doubt session. So I would suggest all of you to take good care of yourself, stay home and stay safe. Thank you, students.